I was in university for business, and I was in university for sport and event management. Like, I struggled a lot through school because of the way that things get taught. You know, I like to learn things hands-on. I like to learn things in groups. I like to be creative. I like to be collaborative. Whereas that one, it was a lot of consume the knowledge and then you compete with your peers. And it's always, you know, who gets the better grade. And to me, it was never about who got the best marks. It was like, for me, it was always, do you understand the topic? It wasn't how I learned. And so it was kind of making me miserable. Rather than learning and developing, I was becoming miserable. I always tell people I didn't give up on education. I left school. There's a very fine line between leaving school and giving up on education. I still like to educate myself every single day. I like to learn any chance I get. I like to ask people questions and listen to what they say and kind of get a feel for how people handle different situations in business. And I just felt I wasn't getting that from university. I just felt I was kind of another kid in the crowd. And never in my life have I wanted to be another kid in the crowd. I've always kind of stood out, and I've always kind of taken a different approach to things. And so that's how I came about the decision of coming home. After university, when I came home, number one was I had to get a job. And so I ended up actually working for a contractor, doing a little bit of carpentry, which was really, really great, very handy around my house. This is like, I like taking jobs for teaching purposes. It's like, was I getting paid $45 an hour? No, I was not. But I learned skills, and I learned how to deal with people. I learned how to deal with customers. And I started learning in a totally different way, hands-on as a carpenter. I started to learn not only the tool skills and being able to be handy and fix things around the house, but I also started to learn kind of like the business landscape of the trades. And I've always kind of loved the concept of the trades because there's a certain fulfillment that comes with that. Like when I finished writing a 15-page essay in school, nothing came from it. It's like, okay, I wrote a 15-page essay. Now I wait for my grading. Whereas it's like when I was working for a contractor, I got to see something built from start to finish. I got to see where I started, the whole process, and the end product. And the whole way through, I was able to be creative. And every situation was, how do we approach this problem in a way that nobody else would? You know, how do we solve this problem? And the whole thing was problem solving. And that's what I love. And so it allowed me to be creative and collaborative with other people around me. And it helped me develop a lot of very, very useful life skills. At one point, we laid a hardwood floor. It's about a 2-week job. Laying hardwood floors sucks. There's nothing fun about it. You're on your knees most of the day. You're hunched over. Your back hurts. Your knees hurt. It's really loud because the staple gun is incredibly loud. So you're wearing earmuffs all day. And you're going to sweat. Especially, you know, if the house was hot or wherever you were doing it was hot. It's like if you didn't crack a window, it was a long day. And I remember I came home that day after a really, really long day, you know, sweating. I was exhausted. I think I was running off about 5 hours of sleep. Like I was not well rested. And I came home that day and I picked up my guitar and I started playing a couple chords. And I wrote this one line where it was another day, another dollar. I had to think, okay, what rhymes with dollar? Not a lot of words in the English language rhyme with dollar, believe it or not. With inflation at 9% a year, it's like every paycheck felt smaller and smaller. And so I was like sitting there and I wrote the line, you know, it feels like my check keeps getting smaller, but the stack of bills keeps getting taller. And then I rounded off with another day, another dollar. And so I wrote that chorus and I was like, this is a really good chorus that I feel like a lot of people can relate to. The next day after I wrote that song, we went back. It was like a day or two before we finished that hardwood floor. I remember we worked on it all day and I was the last guy to leave site because I was just tidying up some tools, whatever. And on my way out the door, the homeowner said that line to me. She's like, how was the day today? I was like, well, you know, it's about as good as it can be. It's hot. It was minus 30 outside, but it was hot in the house. So it was a lot of in and out. And I was like, well, it was about as good as it can be. You know, laying hardwood floors is not fun, but we're getting it done. And she goes, yeah, well, you know what they say, another day, another dollar. And I was like sitting there like, I wrote an entire song around that quote. I hadn't heard that quote in about 5 years from anybody. I've never heard anybody say that quote in like 5 years. And then the day after I wrote a song about it, somebody said it to me after a long day at work. And I was like, well, this couldn't have worked out more perfectly. Another day, another dollar. Feels like my check keeps getting smaller. Stack of bills keeps it getting taller. So it's another day, another dollar. Well, I've been working since the morning. I don't know when I'll get to bed. So tell the bartender keep on pouring. Oh, I just gotta clear my head. And every day it's getting harder. Don't know how much I can take. Some days I wish that I was stronger. One of these days I'm bound to break. But it's another day, another dollar. Feels like my check keeps getting smaller. Stack of bills keeps it getting taller. But it's another day, another dollar. And I swear one day I'll change my ways. 'Cause these hard times, girl, are just a phase. We don't deserve this, baby, me and you. But for now, there ain't a damn thing we can do. So it's another day, another dollar. Feels like my check keeps getting smaller. The stack of bills keeps it getting taller. So it's another day, another dollar. Oh, it's another day, another dollar. And it's another day, another dollar.